In this clip, Elon talks about how people often have the wrong idea about him and other billionaires. Let's see what he has to say.
But do you feel like people define you by the fact that you're wealthy, and that they define you in a pejorative way?
For sure. I mean, not everyone, but
right.
There's for sure in recent years, billionaire has become a it's a pejorative. It's like that's a bad thing. Which I think doesn't make a lot of sense in most cases. So how does this wealth arise? It's if you organize people in a better way to produce products and services that are better than what existed before, and you have some ownership in that company, then that essentially gives you the right to allocate more capital. So there's a conflation of consumption and capital allocation.
But do you feel like people define you by the fact that you're wealthy?
If a person has a substantial amount of money and material possessions, this person is wealthy. In other words, this person has a lot of money.
And that they define you in a pejorative way?
Pejorative is a great word. If you talk about somebody in a pejorative way, you are speaking about that person from a negative perspective. You're not being very kind to that person. A great synonym for pejorative is derogatory. If you are derogatory or speak about someone in a derogatory way, it's the same idea. You are talking about that person negatively. By the way, this reminds me of the classic clip from Rocky 2. You know the Rocky Balboa movies? In Rocky 2, there is this press conference where a reporter asks Rocky to comment something derogatory about his opponent, Apollo Creed. But Rocky, in that movie, he's not very educated, so he doesn't really understand what derogatory means. So it's really cool to see the clip because, he kind of uses derogatory in a positive way because he doesn't understand what it means. Check it out.
Rocky, got anything derogatory to say about the champ?
Derogatory? Yeah, he's great.
For sure, in recent years, billionaire has become a pejorative. It's like that's a bad thing. Which I think doesn't make a lot of sense in most cases.
Great connected speech here. So we have it doesn't. It doesn't. The T for it is a stop T. We say it doesn't. Also, the T for doesn't also kind of disappears. And then make. The is a schwa sound. The T for lot is a flap T, which then joins with the preposition of. But again, the preposition of is reduced to another schwa sound. So we don't say of, we say a. So putting it together, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Which I think doesn't make a lot of sense. Which I think doesn't make a lot of sense. So how does this wealth arise?
To arise means to come into existence or to appear. Here's an example. It's essential to be prepared for any challenges that may arise in the course of this project. Don't forget the conjugation of this verb. We have arise, the base form, arose, the simple past form, and arisen, the past participle form.
If you organize people in a better way to produce products and services that are better than what existed before, and you have some ownership in that company.
When you have ownership of something, you own it. It's yours. It belongs to you. In the clip, Musk is talking about when you have shares of companies or stocks. You have parts of companies. They belong to you. Here's an example.
I want 90% ownership.
90%? Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm not.
Then that essentially gives you the right to allocate more capital.
Capital means money. It's a common word when talking about business, finance, and investing. To allocate capital means to set aside or reserve capital for a specific purpose. For example, I always allocate 10% of my monthly income for savings.
So there's a conflation of consumption and capital allocation.
When you conflate two things, you believe they are the same by putting them in the same category. But the problem with doing this is that you end up creating confusion.